These Republicans, Romney, Rumsfeld, remind me of kids who flunked out of high school but come back to tap on the classroom windows. They're only there to get attention and otherwise disrupt those who are still trying to learn. Got it? Dropouts, flunkers. Romney, I didn't know the guy even took the course on foreign policy. He never said a word about it. All he talked about was his businessman's approach to things. If he ever said anything of importance about the world beyond his latest business venture, it's hard to remember it.
Really, Chris Matthews? You don't remember what Romney said about foreign policy during the 2012 campaign? Let us enlighten you. Here we go.
I think from the very beginning, one of the challenges we've had with Iran is that they have looked at this administration and felt that the administration was not as strong as it needed to be. I think they saw weakness where they had expected with all the world's worst actors. In his first year, he'd sit down with Chavez and Kim Jong-il, with Castro, and with President Ahmadinejad of Iran. And I think they looked and thought, well, that's an unusual honor to receive from the President of the United States. And then the President began what I've called an apology tour of going to various nations in the Middle East and criticizing America. I think they looked at that and saw weakness. Then when there were dissidents in the streets of Tehran, a green revolution, holding signs saying, "Is America with us?" the President was silent. I think they noticed that as well. And I think that when the President said he was going to create daylight between ourselves and Israel, that they noticed that as well.
All right. And, of course, on Russia, the President mocked Mitt Romney for what he said about Russia and our foreign policy.
Governor Romney, I'm glad that you recognize that al-Qaeda is a threat, because a few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because, you know, the Cold War's been over for 20 years.
All right, Cold War's been over for 20 years. Well, who was right on that? And Romney explained himself at the time.
Russia, I indicated, is a geopolitical foe. Not a, excuse me, it's a geopolitical foe. And I said in the same paragraph, I said, and Iran is the greatest national security threat we face. Russia does continue to battle us in the UN time and time again. I have clear eyes on this. I'm not going to wear rose-colored glasses when it comes to Russia or Mr. Putin. And I'm certainly not going to say to him, I'll give him more flexibility after the election. After the election, he'll get more backbone.
Yeah, more backbone. Well, we never got that backbone. Hey, Chris, are you watching? Because I remember this and a lot more. How about that infamous Candy Crowley fiasco on Benghazi?
I think it's interesting the president just said something which is that on the day after the attack, he went in the Rose Garden and said that this was an act of terror. You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
I want to make sure we get that for the record, because it took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
I mean, he had Obama on the ropes on foreign policy on Benghazi. Then he was saved by Candy Crowley, who was wrong.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
He did call it an act of terror.
How pathetic that the President of the United States needs a moderator of a debate to save him with a fallacy, no less. And then there was this.
I stood in the Rose Garden, and I told the American people and the world that we were going to find out exactly what happened, that this was an act of terror, and I also said that we're going to hunt down those who committed this crime.
Hey, Chris, how'd that work out for the United States of America? What time is it? Are we still hunting down those people? Have we brought anybody to justice? Have we gotten the true story? Or is there a massive cover-up? Chris Matthews doesn't remember anything that Mitt Romney said about foreign policy. Only talked about his business. I think he got it wrong. It was you in the media who did that, not Mitt Romney. All right, folks, there you go. Give me 5 on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax Television.
The Steve Malzberg Show.